Tim Brenner did a really interesting video blog post the other day about what he was learning in the etmooc, specifically around digital literacies, and I wanted to take a look at something he said.
Digital literacies are important for individuals to have a sense of I. How they're navigating it, how they're figuring things out, and how and where they sit in the online world.
While he was talking about a number of different digital literacies, the one that resonated most with me was this concept of identity, and that we have to cultivate an identity in order to be digitally literate. That to me is a really engaging concept, but I'm not so sure that we need to change the way that we are doing that. I think that we are doing that fine, and that everyone does have an identity, and they are cultivating it. The thing that I would like to learn how to change is the idea that we don't have a single identity, and that it isn't unchanging over time. What I'd like to see is that those identities are built from a very early age and that we understand what that digital identity looks like, and that literacy for looking at our own digital presence and our own digital footprint and seeing it for all that it is and not just a single thing. If we can do that, and we start it from an early age, then we can change it over time, and it doesn't become, I am a teacher, and therefore that is all. I had a really good conversation with Diana Laufenberg the other day, where she was talking about someone who was assuming a role within a district, a superintendent or a CIO, and they were having to give up part of their digital identity because they were assuming this sort of prestigious role, and they were going to have to start watching what they were putting within their Twitter accounts, within their Facebook accounts, and things like that. And while I think that's true, and we have to be sure to understand what our digital identities are online and seeing the full digital footprint, it isn't that we should have to change it and have our digital identity be only one thing. It is that it should be always changing, and we should always be looking for new ways to change it over time and making it mutable, making it something that we can move. What I'd like to explore is two things. The first of which is that we need to base our digital identity on something. It is our real self, it is our personal identity, it is an extension of ourself, and we should start that from a very early age and start to teach kids that there are places to be putting yourself out there, and there are portfolios to be creating, and creating your long tail from a very early age. The second thing I want to take a look at is that we should be able to change our digital identity over time and have those communities of people that we have interacted with change with us, and that we can move from one community to another. When I was looking at a different role, when I was taking on something that wasn't a classroom teacher, that wasn't in a district position, it was very hard to have the same kinds of conversations and work with the same sorts of colleagues. And so I had to change my identity in order to fit the role that I was within, and it felt awkward and it felt strange, and the only time that I really felt safe within that was when I was interacting as a part of a new role. And by trying to find that way of manipulating it and making it new and creating something new within it, I was able to say, this is my new identity, I'm going to become a part of it, and making that authentic. But that process is really foreign to us. We really struggle with the idea that we can be one thing on one day and then move into a new space and be something new and have those identities be congruent. That's the thing I would like to learn how to change, because students do that all of the time. Learners that from a very young age, they want to be interested in one thing and then they want to be interested in another. And while those things may be mutually exclusive, it's still the same person that is doing that. And we accept that from someone in real life, but we don't accept that from someone in a digital space. If you are an educator, you are always that educator, and I'm not going to see you as something else unless you have proven to me that you are now something else and you set up a different account and now that's your new profile. So the problem is, when we have these different understandings of who we are, it is the different digital identities that seemingly are incongruent and that we aren't able to move from one to the other in a seamless fashion. That's what I would like to learn how to change. So if you have any ideas about how it is that we can have multiple identities online and actually make them mesh and actually create a singular existence online, this digital literacy of continuity that I would like to explore. If you have any ideas about that, please put that in the comments, subscribe on YouTube, or join us in the Google Plus community for reflective practice vlogging. Thank you so much for watching.